Next on City Pulse with Monica, more legal problems for Now Magazine.
That's right, Gord. Last week, Metro Police charged Now Magazine with communicating for the purposes of prostitution because of their classified ads. Today, police have charged 4 of Now's directors personally on the same counts. Teresa Roncon has the story.
Individual counts and the date of the offenses, as well as a notice concerning what publications form the substance of the charges.
I have to be honest with you, I think this demonstrates the fine line between sexual intolerance and political repression.
Metro Police's morality squad served 4 summons today to Mike Hollett, Alice Klein, Lillian Schaefer, and Greg Kilty, charging each director with 14 counts of communicating for the purposes of prostitution.
Why are they being charged today?
By mutual arrangement that we made with them, that they would take the summonses today.
Metro Police refused to comment any further on why the additional charges have been laid. Now employees say they're stunned at their actions.
Why? You know, why are they putting this on us personally? I think it's just another mean action.
Turning up the pressure, they want us to stop. We're not stopping. We can't stop. This is a very fundamental issue. It's freedom of the press.
The 4 directors of Now Magazine will appear in court here at Old City Hall on September 28th to fight the personal charges of communication for the purposes of prostitution. One thing that's puzzling them, since the law was introduced in 1985, why have they only now been charged? At Old City Hall, I'm Teresa Roncon for City Pulse.
4 directors of Now Magazine were charged today with communicating for the purposes of prostitution. The charges are exactly the same as those laid against or last week against the magazine's publisher. As CFTO's Pat Foran reports, the alleged offenses center around the magazine's personal advertising section.
1 week after Now Communications was charged with communicating for the purpose of prostitution, the magazine's directors were rounded up by police and charged with the same offense. The 4 directors say they are surprised to face personal charges, but they were warned by police beforehand, as was the media. The charges revolve around personal ads in the back of the publication. The ads offer services like uncensored phone sex, sensual spanking, and erotic massage. Police laid charges last week following complaints saying the ads amount to advertising for prostitutes. Editor-publisher Michael Hollett says other publications run similar ads. He says Now is being singled out for its past criticism of the police.
This is police harassment. They don't want publishers and newspaper editors making trouble for the police in this country. I have to draw that conclusion based on today's actions.
Executive editor Alice Klein says the magazine and its lawyers are prepared for a fight.
We are going to fight back. We are going to take this on. We're going to resist this action.
When charges were laid against the magazine last week, the publisher said Now is a mirror of Toronto and the sex trade is part of the city. Now appears ready for a battle. The magazine will go to court September 28th to set a trial date. Pat Foran, CFTO News.
Thanks very much, Gord. Paul Tuz is with me from the Better Business Bureau. And Paul, you're maybe a little disappointed at the outcome.
Well, not really. You have to appreciate that perhaps major corporations and...
Only he'd had you there to remind him of that.
Well, you know, it falls right in line with the Better Business Bureau. We're talking about ethics in business and ethics in politics. And I think this is what this election was all about, ethics in politics.
It'll be interesting to see when the dust settles what happens. Thank you very much. And we are speaking now with Michael Howlett, the editor of Now Magazine. Now, you've had a busy morning. You were arrested this morning.
Yes, that's right.
I don't mean to sound like I'm happy, but you are, you know, you're standing up for something.
Yeah, well, it's exciting to fight for something that's worth fighting for, and fighting for freedom of the press is certainly worth fighting for.
What's the next step for you?
The next step is to go to court. The paper was charged last week, and today 4 individuals were charged, and we will go. Our first court date is September 28th.
You had an interesting phone call this morning. Tell me about that.
Well, in the midst of what must have obviously been a very busy day for him, Bob Ray was kind enough to phone Now early this morning to express his solidarity with our situation and his support for our fight for freedom of the press. So considering he's the new premier and the man in a position to appoint the new attorney general, I'm pretty happy with it.
Do you think he's going to make good his promise to you?
Well, I know he's got a lot of things to worry about, but we'd certainly appreciate it if he proved himself to be a little more enlightened in areas of freedom of the press than the previous government.
With your fight, too. Okay, thanks, Michael. We're going to go back into the City Pulse newsroom and check in with Gord.
As Now Magazine celebrates its 9th anniversary. Teresa Roncon is there right now with the City Pulse Live Eye. Teresa?
Thank you very much, Laura.
There's been a great turnout. The weather's really made a turn for the better, and a lot of people have come out to see the bands today. Right now on stage, we've got Toronto band, the Sky Diggers, who have been joined by Andrew Cash, and we'll have a listen at them right now. Right now with Alice Klein, Executive Director of Now Magazine. Alice, are you happy with the turnout here? It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay, well, with all the problems that Now has been having lately with the charges, not only on the magazine, but on 4 directors, including yourself, of the charges of communicating for the purposes of prostitution, how has that affected this celebration? Well, in a way, I think it's made it better. You know, as the week has gone by, we've been getting phone calls and support, and I think the people here today have made us feel like we're really strong, we're really lucky, we can fight back, we're not powerless against police harassment, so it's great. Okay, well, that's good to hear. We'll have more on this Nathan Phillips Square event a little bit later on in the show. Right now, we're going to go back to Laura DeVettis in the City Falls newsroom. Thank you very much, Alice.
And thank you, Teresa. Coming up next, we're heading back to Nathan Phillips Square for the Now Party and a look at entertainment. In entertainment tonight, the gray skies aren't spoiling the fun for the Now Magazine anniversary party. Let's go back there live now to Nathan Phillips Square with Teresa Roncon. Teresa?
Thank you very much, Laura. No, the weather sure hasn't spoiled anything. Maybe 4,000 people, maybe more, are down here. Right now on stage are the Sky Diggers, who've been joined by Andrew Cash. They're just leaving now. We'll have more on entertainment a little bit later. But first, tonight's gala screening at the Festival of Festivals is Tyranno de Bergerac. This French film was a big hit at the Cannes Film Festival, and John Burgess was at the screening yesterday. Premiering at the film festival last night was Hot Spot, directed by Dennis Hopper. It stars Don Johnson as a thief who gets involved with 2 passionate women. Kim Clark Champness has the story. He says the movie's hot, long, and passionate, like a midsummer Texas day. In about half an hour at 6:45, Men Without Hats will be taking the stage, and Ivan is going to be joined on stage by Mitsu. So you still have time to come down and enjoy the fun. That's it for entertainment. Back to you, Laura.